Welcome strategy battle gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. Is of course Speak Friend and Question back for another episode of Middle Earth SBG Q&A, and you are here with your host GBHL James. Now I'd like to start this video off with a huge thank you, because in the comments of the last video, and also I got a lot of private messages, I have to say, there are a lot of messages of support, which means the absolute world. Lots and lots of congratulations of course for my big news, which I couldn't be more happy about. It was important to me that I let you guys know exactly what was going on with me in my life and how that could affect filming and the channel, not just the GBHL podcast, but also things with Hotgates Gaming. So I really appreciate all of the supportive messages that I got, all of the congratulations, which is why it's really important that I definitely wanted to be in this week's edition of Speak Friend and Question. I am on my own. I wasn't feeling too good on Thursday, and I was due to meet up with Steve, and we were going to film a cheeky one. I wasn't sure what was going on with Harry and Jamie this week, but unfortunately I didn't feel too good, so I had to cancel on Steve, which is a bit of a shame, but it has of course allowed him to get a bit more done for the Scouring of Cheshire, which is happening next weekend. So next weekend we'll all be there, and it'll be a great opportunity to catch up with some of the strategy battle gaming guys from across the Great British Hobbit League. Now I would like to start this Speak Friend and Question with a little bit of news. Now it's not breaking news, because the news is breaking over on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook group. If you're not there, then it's a great way of keeping in touch with a lot of the guys who are involved in what's going on in the UK, the tournament scene, and also really getting involved with everything that's happening with Games Workshop and Forge World and the future of Middle Earth strategy battle gaming. So I believe we have Matthew Davies, good friend of mine, Generation Shift. Do go and check out his YouTube channel. Absolutely phenomenal guy. He was at the Forge World Open Day, and at this Forge World Open Day he was able to see some of the breaking news, as it were, with Middle Earth strategy battle gaming. So some of you might already know this, but it has been revealed some of the re-released miniatures, some of the miniatures that went out of production, which are now coming back in. So we do know now that Gandalf the Grey Mounted, that beautiful model that so many of us didn't have for so long. I was very lucky to be able to pick one up and not have to pay through the nose for it. But these were going as high, higher than £50 per model for a Gandalf the Grey Mounted. That is back. The Shade is back. We've already seen that on the web stores. Girion, Lord of Dow, will be making a return. Also, the Captain of Dow is on his way back as well. So these are some of the things that are coming back. We also saw Dane on his War Pig painted up at this Forge World Open Day, but also some of the sculpts of the, this really is breaking news, Gundabad Berserkers. So a model which nobody will have seen yet, and it has confirmed for release. Now there are also pictures of our good friend and also champion of the Great British Hobbit League, Jay Clare, who is the writer for the new Middle Earth strategy battle gaming. Hi Jay, hope you're okay, buddy. And he had a PDF in front of him apparently, which contained many of the new rules going forward. So mostly the profiles. It seems like this is like a big source, but a collection of all the profiles from the Battle of Five Armies and other bits and pieces, I believe. And from what I gather, there are some changes. So there are profiles which have changed. So for example, Beefy Legolas doesn't exist anymore. I mean, there is a profile where you get Legolas and he has the option to take Orcrist, but we've come away from that idea of a 3-attack Legolas, which is really interesting, and that some of those the beefy kind of expensive heroes have been changed slightly. Some of the points have come down a little bit. There wasn't too much detail other than I think the Legolas one on exactly what some of those changes are, but that's really interesting that some of those Hobbit profiles seem to be being scaled down, and some things are being repointed so they can be included in lower points match games. So that's really exciting news. So well done Matthew Davies for getting some of that back to us. It also seems that absolutely everything that you saw in the Battle of the Five Armies seems to have a profile going forwards. Again, there were some details on exactly how some of these Ram Riders and the chariots and the like would work, but what I suggest you do, rather than this becoming kind of like a news video, is that go and get yourself on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook group. If you're not already on there, it's a great place to obviously chat with other hobbyists, particularly ones in the UK, but it's not exclusively that. There are guys from across the world on there. Matthew Davies has put as much of the information that he could soak in from that PDF on there. So really interesting. He said that there was a profile for everything other than the Weirworms. So there you go, which means that we're going to be getting some great models for them. Gundabad Berserkers look really cool as well. So well done to the sculpting team. So is Speak Friend and Question And I think that we should crack on. Let's go and have a little look and see what we've got. So the first question is from Luke Hibbert. Thank you very much for your question, Luke. He's put, can you guys tell me when your next event is so I can meet you guys? Well, the next event that I know that all 4 of your GBHL hosts will be at, and also the guys in waiting who haven't been declared yet, if they're going to be declared at all, of course, will be the Scouring of Cheshire. Now that's happening next weekend, but that's a fully subscribed tournament. If you did want to pop down and just have a look around, that's happening in Altrincham near Manchester. And it's going to be a great event. The terrain's going to be incredible. I would like to take this opportunity to give a massive shout out to Steve, not just for all of the effort that he's gone into his first event. You know, he's put a huge amount of effort into building Middle Earth for this event, but also for the fact that he is also going to be supporting Ardacon. So Ardacon SBG International, the first ever fan convention and world team championships. We've got 200 people coming from across the world, spectators and gamers alike, for a weekend in October 21st, 23rd. There are still some tickets remaining. But Steve has very kindly said that all of the tables from his event will be going to Ardacon, and not just Steve, but the guys up in Ripon Wargamers, the guys from the Wargaming Association of Reading, the guys up in Common Ground Games, the Sterling Wargamers. They're going to be bringing stuff down as well, and also my good friend JT, he's bringing a couple of boards across. So this really is going to be a showcase of some of the terrain and tables that you will see in tournaments across the Great British Hobbit League. So big shout out to those guys. So in terms of the next tournament, we'll be able to see us. That's where I'll be. The one that I'll be at after that will be the next one will be Nova Open. I'm going to struggle to get to anything else. So that'll be the Nova Open. But Ardacon is probably going to be your next opportunity to see all of us. So Ardacon, October the 21st to 23rd, Manchester City Centre at the Manchester Mercure Hotel. Details are on Facebook. Again, get yourself on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook. Alternatively, if you want more details about that, then you can email hotgatesgaming@gmail.com, and all the ticket information is over on the Element Games website on the events sales part of it. So go and check that out. So that's the next opportunity that you can meet us guys. Thanks very much for Luke. Look forward to meeting you. Next up we've got Lucas Whitcroft Wright, my man. I hope you're okay, Mr. Whitcroft Wright, and I hope your family are well as well. But hi guys, first of all, congratulations James. Thank you very much Lucas, thank you. I'm so happy for you, man. You're such a cool guy, you'll be a great dad. I really appreciate that, mate. That means the world, so thank you so much. And yeah, we'll have to arrange another visit for you and your mum to come up. Your mum can come up and go out shopping with Jane again, or whatever they did last time. I think they got a facial or something, didn't they? And me and you can play some cool games. So let me know if you're up for that, Lucas. Now on to the question. I'm taking Azog Hunter's List to Longbottom, and I was wondering what would make the best general. Fimble with Warg, Yaznag with Warg and Lance, Narzug, or the Gundabad Orc General with two-handed weapon. I'm starting to lean towards Narzug as all my other heroes will be hitting combat a lot. Just want to know what you guys thought. Congratulations again, James. Lucas, smiley face. Thank you so much, Lucas. Really kind words. So in terms of your Azog Hunters list, it sounds like a really cool list, by the way. I'm in agreement with you, I have to say, because Fimble's great. He's going to be doing his charging, trying to charge through woods and all that kind of stuff, and kicking bum. Yazneg you're going to want to chuck in, whereas Narzug is a little bit more of a support hero. Now you could put your Gundabad Orc General back, but you know, I know that all of these are as one fate, 2 wounds, I believe, all of these below. But I think Narzug is the most likely to be kind of taking the back seat and doing a bit of skirmishing. So I'd probably go for Narzug. I think you've got a good shout there, Lucas. But good luck with that list. I'd love to see how it comes on. Maybe bring it down and we'll play a game. Usually at Galadrim Mount, Lucas. Next up we've got David Murphy. So this was Egan, now David Murphy. So welcome. I guess we're welcoming a new name in some ways. Just for clarity, my name is now legally David Murphy. David Egan is no more. Well, we'll be sad to you know, say goodbye to David Egan, but David Murphy, he's just as cool guy. I'm very excited for Steve's event in a couple of weeks. Yes, and you're going to be there. That's great. I look forward to catching up with you. Eager to see the amazing things he's been building. I'm very excited for Ardacon in a couple of months. Yeah, me too. I mean, so much work to be done. Don't panic, by the way, if any of you haven't received an email that has your ticket ref. I do realise that I wrote the word attached, which confused a couple of people in that email. Made them think that they were getting an attachment with the code. Your reference code So effectively your receipt for the event when you register is in the title of each of your emails. If you haven't received them yet, don't worry, because I'm having to go through and do them manually. People are trying to teach me. Thomas Harrison of all people, who's a proper technophobe, trying to teach me better ways of doing this. So I've sent out 35 of those so far. But everybody should have received for Ardacon, who has bought a ticket, of course. The pack, it's got details about, because of course GameMap.eu are going to be supporting the event, so thank you very much to GameMap.eu, that's absolutely fantastic. Because we're having to buy so many mats for this, it provides a unique opportunity for people to be able to get a 4x4 gaming mat. Great gaming mats as well. There's a choice between the meadow one, the wasteland one, the kind of snowy Arctic one, and also the desert one. That will be there, and instead of paying the £37.60 I think it is per mat, and then of course you've got postage and the carry bag cost on top of that, there's a unique opportunity that if you can collect, or you can get someone to collect from Ardacon, you can get practically new, because of course the mats will be used at the events, you get practically new gaming mats for £25, which is incredible. Now, not only is that a fantastic deal for you guys, but it also helps. I'm sure you can imagine if there's 200 people coming and I'm having to get around 100 mats, even at £25, that's £2,500. Don't say it too loud, but yeah, quite scary. So if you want to support the event, buying on the mats is a great way of helping to do that. So yeah, that email included some details about how you could get that. Also some details about Adam Troke being there from the Middle Earth. Just think, if what I want you guys to think of, knowing that Forge World are going to be having a big presence at Ardacon, and Adam Troke's going to be there, Jake Glay's going to be playing, Adam Troke's going to be playing, but Adam Troke is going to be doing a seminar, like a Q&A as well. Think about all of the wonderful things that we've heard news-wise from even events such as, this Forge World Open Day, the Warhammer Fest that went on, and then of course Throne of Skulls a little bit earlier in the year. Okay, well, Ardacon is the largest gathering ever of Hobbit strategy battle gaming players, soon to be Middle Earth strategy battle gaming players. So if you want not just the latest news, but the opportunity to potentially physically pick up some of the latest things that people might never have seen before, let alone had the opportunity to buy physically, then Ardacon is the place to be. So I've given a little bit more details about that in that pack. There's also some of the event schedule on there. As you can see, it's an absolutely crammed schedule. You can pick and choose what you do, of course, but yeah, that gives an idea of like your points values for the different games and how they're going to be scored and what's going to be happening at approximately what time. There's also a questionnaire there that you fill in. Now, everybody who's bought a ticket should have received that email. Now, a lot of people message me and are like, oh, I've not got the email. I believe that if you look for the email off your phone, because of all the attachments, sometimes on some phones it doesn't come up on your phone. So bear that in mind, check on your computers. But also there is a chance, because of all those attachments and because, they're quite heavy, that it could have got into your junk or your spam mail. So make sure you check that before you send me a message saying that you've not got it, because you all should have got it. Also, some of you bought tickets and then supplied a different email, so make sure you check all of your email addresses, because you might think that it's going to arrive at one email address and it'll arrive at the other one that you wrote down. It can happen. So yeah, there you go. Enough about that. I am looking forward to Ardacon as well. I look forward to getting together with so many international SBG players. This is back to David Murphy. Yeah, absolutely, it's going to be incredible. I'm looking forward to being able to play at Steve's event. I mean, I have not. Obviously, I said in the last Speak Friendly Question, if you've not gone to see that, there is a little sort of 10-minute announcement of everything that's going on in my life, about what's been going on this year. I haven't been able to do the kind of the high level commitment to the other tournaments that I did really in the kind of the first big year of the channel and everything, to promote them. But there are other people doing that now, which is great. That's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I do feel a bit guilty about that, but this will be my first time to play. Now, I had a big decision to make. As most of you guys know out there who know me, I am a cavalry player. I love playing cavalry. I'm particularly a Rohan man. And I was thinking, well, I would like to win an event. Of course I would like to win an event. Should I take a competitive Rivendell Knight build with some casters? Do I go down the route of 17, 18 Rivendell Knights, Rivendell Knight captains and Saruman, and go and play that kind of game and go and play and try and win, because there's some cool prizes, and also, I'm not a terrible player. I've made some terrible decisions in games, and I've certainly learned a lot. I'm not a terrible player. Or do I take my love? Do I take a Rohan army? Now, unfortunately, because of the 250 points rule, you can't take a pure Rohan army. I'm a little bit gutted about that, but I have built a list, got Aragorn, Strider in there as well. So fingers crossed that goes okay. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to that, David Murphy. Also, Game of Thrones Season 6, what did you think? Best season finale of a TV series so far, and one of the best on-screen battles ever. Also, congrats, James. Well, thank you very much for offering your congratulations, David. I have to say that Jane and I were a little bit late to the boat, so we managed to keep up with it. I mean, we now have Virgin, and Virgin, if you're having to upload videos and doing internet stuff, bear in mind, the whole reason I've got Virgin and paying the money for Virgin is for YouTube. It's purely for, you know, in my opinion, having the sport and the movies, you know, it's great. Actually, you know, we have kind of got our money's worth-ish. But it's the internet, the upload speed for videos is just so much better. But that meant that we don't get Sky Atlantic, which means that we couldn't keep up to date with Game of Thrones. Now, for the first 3, we managed to kind of watch them after the fact. You know, there are websites where you can watch them. But the one that we were going for, I mean, we missed an episode and we left it until the following week, and we couldn't get it. Now, this sounds really sad. When we went to that wedding in early June over in Spain, Jane, well, for obvious reasons now, she wasn't feeling too good. She wasn't feeling too good on one of the days, and we went back to the room, and the place that we were staying, the apartment, they had the season 6 on Series Link, and we binge watched all of it up until like episode 7 or 8. I think it was up until episode 7, which was great. And I have to say, I mean, I'm not going to go into too many details. There might be some people who still haven't watched it, and if you haven't watched it, I mean, I was a huge fan of the books before the movies, before the TV series came out. Long before that, I was following the book. I waited for ages for a couple of those books to come out. You know, with bated breath, and often disappointed. I have to say, the books definitely deteriorate, in my opinion. You know, A Game of Thrones, the first book of the series, is fantastic, and Clash of Kings is very good, but then I think that it gets a bit weaker, and there's a lot of repeated themes, and you kind of you've not got the same kind of connection with some of the characters later on. But I feel that in this series that, of course, from a TV series point of view, because not all of it kind of tied in with the books anymore, it kind of felt free of the shackles, and I think you could definitely see that, and I think it did provide some of the incredibly cool TV moments. I absolutely loved it. I have to, I would love to talk about it in more detail, but I know how frustrating it is if someone hasn't watched it, how frustrating it would be if I gave away a spoiler, so I'll stop there. But yeah, it was an incredible series. I hope you guys out there enjoyed it as well. So thanks very much for that, David Murphy. Look forward to seeing you next weekend. Next up we've got Leon Kays, but thanks for your answers. I actually don't live in France, but in Germany. I just asked this question because I want to improve my French by watching battle reports, because watching your videos actually helped me a lot for my Abitur year, which is something a little like German A-levels. Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm not sure if there are any sort of French SBG channels out there, you know. Hey, gap in the market, people who speak French, get on it, you know. The guys, when they opened their channel in Germany, the Hobbit Tabletop Liga, you know, they absolutely smashed it because, you know, they completely just dominated the German market, as it were. Lucky a lot of those guys watch this as well, because they all speak English, which is good, or most of them speak English, which is great. But yeah, I'm not sure of any French channel. So you put here, for the Wind Lance, it costs 75 points, there's a strength of 10. The problem is that it's scattered, so you only have 1 or 2 shots, and it doesn't have the piercing shot rule. House rules could be remove the scattering. 2, it is just a strength 10 crossbow, with or without the auto kill, or remove all mentioned negative aspects. Which option do you guys prefer? Well, it seems like that some of the things from Battle 5 armies and across the board are going to be being re-looked at, and considering that the rules writing is by our very own beautiful, gorgeous man, Jay Clare, who's a good friend of ours, and he is a Lake Town player, and he's famed for bringing his Lake Town, then if there are problems with the Wind Lance, I would imagine that they will be some of the first things which I've dealt with. Sorry, there was a really annoying fly. Smaug flying across the screen. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to wait and see what happens there. If anything happens, he might think it's perfectly okay. And then you put, my question for today is, I do have 24 Warriors of Erebor, Thorin, Dwalin and Balin. Which miniatures would you recommend as an addition for not more than 750 points? I also thought about just waiting for the Iron Hill Dwarves releases, maybe buy some Ram Riders if possible. I think that's a good idea. Wait and see what is about to come out to add to your dwarf army. I think all of you dwarves out there should be poised really on what to do. But by 750 points, I mean, you could chuck in. You don't really need a defensive wizard. A wizard at 750 points or 700 points plus can be a game changer if you know how to use one. Just sort of shutting things down and the like. Although that isn't really what dwarves kind of struggle against, I don't think. Although it can be annoying if you've got wonderful heroes like Dwalin and Thorin who are just getting shut down by casters all the time and not able to do the things that they want to do. So, what would I add to that? I mean, I would actually try and get some more warriors in. Try and get someone else who can lead a war band. Absolutely, if you can. You know, anybody, a Thor, captain, anybody. Get some more troops in there at 750. More troops will help you. So thanks very much for that, Leon. Next up we've got Ryan McGinn. He's put, congratulations James, thank you very much. I feel the love, I appreciate it. Next up we got Tim Hines. He's put, hello, I asked last week about the way to play Galadrim. I had a Stormcaller, Rumel and Haldir with 10 with bow, 10 with shield and 10 with spear and shield for 500 points, and my opponent played Minas Tirith. He had Faramir, Damrod and Madril with 12 Minas Tirith warriors with shield, 12 with spear and shield and 12 archers, don't remember what kind, but not Minas Tirith warriors. Yeah, probably rangers or Citadel Guard, I imagine. And you had asked what army I played. Just curious what to do if you come up against more of a horde type army. Also with Harrod, is it smart to get as many troops as possible or more of a bigger hero for 500 points? Thanks. Okay, well let's start off with, I mean, the thing that Galadrim would struggle against Gondor with, you know, generally, is the fact that Gondor likely are going to be wounding a lot of your things on 5s, whereas you will be wounding them on 6s, and defense 6 protects them a little bit more against your elven bows and the like. But you do have the fight value on your side, so you're more likely to win the fights, but you're less likely to do the killing. I think your heroes have got to do a reasonable amount in that kind of matchup because they've got quite cheap heroes. They're able to obviously just outnumber you slightly, but I would, you know, certainly try and get Rumil and Haldir lending their fight value where possible, you know, up against even basic troops. And then of course, well, not lending their fight value, but lending their strength, because strength 4 is gonna be a big help. And yeah, I mean, if you've got the Stormcaller, if you can get them knocked down, and then you get double strikes needing 6s is obviously going to be a lot easier, especially if you've then got, if you're supported by the spears in that situation. So yeah, you know, use your Stormcaller and your heroes wisely, and really you should be favoured in that. You know, your heroes are probably better, and yes, you don't have the defence, and they're going to probably be wounding you on 5s and you them on 6s, but I think that your army's got a bit more going for it, even in a straight up clash. So yeah, good luck with that. Let me know how you get on. With Harad, I think trying to spam troops is always a good idea with Harad. You know, you got to look at what their strengths are. They've got lots of access to fight 4. They can abuse the bow limit, you know, to attack models. So you want to really get, you know, and cheap as well. So can you max out on things like Watchers of Karna, for example? You know, if you can get 50% Watcher of Karna force supported by either Warriors of Karna with Spear or Serpent Guard and the like, and you've got all that, and you've just got some cheap heroes. I mean, Hasharin are pretty decent, you know, reasonable, they're not cheap, but you know what I mean. Then I think that would be the way that I would go if I was building a Haradrim force. So I hope that helps a little bit, Tim Hines. Next up we've got Stephen Gill. He's put, first of all, congratulations and commiserations. Well, I'm guessing this is for me. Congratulations on becoming a parent. Yeah, I could not be more happy. I mean, did you know? I mean, Jane is now 12 weeks. She's 12 weeks. This is a fully formed baby, the size of a lime. Our baby's got fingernails and eyelashes and hair follicles and everything pretty much functions, and now just has to grow. you know, and we're a third of the way through. It's absolutely, it blows my mind, makes me want to cry. It just absolutely blows my mind. Yeah, congratulations on becoming a parent, one of the most fulfilling and rewarding aspects of the human condition. Commiserations, because no matter how much you prepare or read up on it, you really will not know what's hit you. Yeah, I mean, I'm just relying on the fact that, you know, there are a lot of people that are less capable than us that have had kids who've turned out okay. So yeah, I understand that our life is about to change hugely. So you put one tip for the next 6 months. Get good at foot rubs. Hey, in the words of Samuel L. Jackson, I'm the foot master. Although not with Jane. I think Jane's got pretty tickly feet anyway. You know, I'm usually not a tickler, but she gets quite sensitive to a bit of tickling. You put, sorry to hear about the negativity. You could say that the revival is as a result of all the people who have attended tourneys and carried on buying SBG products, but you could also say that some people have helped more with this resurgence than others. You had the drive, the vision, and the daring to summon Articon into existence. Kudos to you. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of people asking about that negativity. I'm not going to talk about it too much. The people out there who are doing it know who you are. You know, sort yourselves out. You know, give us a break. Try my best here. So thank you very much, Stephen. Next up, we got King Bonsai. You put, here are some ideas for making a Balrog competitive. First, give him an 8-inch movement and give back his wounds to dice resist rule. Then give him this. Will be in replies as it may get long during sun. The Flaming Whip. So you've got loads of different things here. The Flaming Whip will be the same. You get 3 new weapons. Flaming Sword, Axe of Darkness, and Mace of Darkness. All of these are in the books. Flaming Sword, when you make strikes with this weapon, any model that you fail to wound is set ablaze. Blade of Darkness, when you strike with this weapon, you make 1 strike against every foe in the fight, but not supports your strength. Mace of Darkness, when choosing to strike with this weapon, you make all your strikes against a single model. If the model is wounded, it is instantly removed as a casualty. Fate may be used as normal. If the model is not slain by the blows, then it is not prone. If the model is carrying any piece of war gear that may be passed at Shibana, it may not be passed because it is ruined in the mire of his blood. Interesting. Does he get all of those weapons at once, or you have to choose at the start of the game, you know, what to do? Be interesting to see. I mean, I personally think that the Balrog, you know, if old profiles, which it looks like might happen, get looked at, I think the Balrog is probably one of those that would get looked at. You know, you got to look and go, you know, again, Steve and I obviously just being nerds and geeks, absolutely got no influence at all. But you know, we've been speculating a lot. What would be the kind of things that we would like to see in that rules we'd like to see series? If you've not gone and checked out the main rule book and the Kings of Men one, Fallen Realms will come soon. I didn't see Steve to film on Thursday because I didn't feel too good, but hopefully the next one will be next week. But yeah, I think that when we get to Moria and Angmar and look at the Balrog will be one that you know, it's something that we don't see apart from for fun reasons, and there are reasons behind that. You know, so what would you do to make that profile not suddenly be a must be, but just at least be a good option in the game? And that's kind of, you know, the way that we look at it. So yeah, cheers for that, King Boneseye. I appreciate your involvement. Next up, we've got Vicky Irvine. Hello, Vicky. I hope you received your Hotgates gaming dice okay. Big shout out to Vicky. She's been a huge supporter of the channel. And certainly the hosts for a very, very long time. I think she's the first person ever to you know, contribute something via PayPal towards what Jamie and I had set up originally, you know, which was amazing. And just feeling that kind of support makes a massive, massive difference, you know, because like I said last week, negativity, as positive as you are, can grind on you, and you can get disappointed, you know, in some people. Who are doing that, you know, and effectively ruin your chance. But you know, that doesn't take away from the fact that there are some amazing people out there as well, like Vicky, who, you know, just your support just really, really makes me want to keep this going, you know, as much as I possibly can. So thank you very much, Vicky, and thanks for commenting. But first of all, congratulations, James and Jane. Thank you, Vicky. It means a lot. I'm sure you guys will make wonderful parents. Second, I want to thank all of the people involved in the GBHL podcast, including their significant others, as they are supporting you and our hobby in the background. Yeah, absolutely. You know, that first year when I was going to all of those events and tournaments, you know, which I felt was quite important for building the channel and supporting the events and being able to mention them in the videos and talk, you know, do tournament reviews and, you know, help build them up, as it were, you know, in any way that we could, whether that was appreciated or not, you know. Jane, who's, from my point of view, had to sort of suffer through that and lose me for a weekend every month to 6 weeks. So absolutely, I mean, I try and do all of this where I can at times where it doesn't clash with Jane and I, but I'm filming this now, Jane's in the other room, when really I should be spending that time with her, you could say. So absolutely, hats off to our significant others. Naysayers are few and far between here in this hobby, at least in the Hobbit hobby, but disregard the negativity. You have been a shining beacon of inspiration for me personally, and I hope you will continue to offer some of your time going forwards. Can't wait to see everyone. Oh no, that's Andrea. Sorry, I've mixed up you two. Sorry, here we go. Vicky, I am reading yours. The amount of time you put into spotlight the hobby and keep us entertained is amazing. I think that sometimes people forget that you are also just fans of the game and want to keep it alive and well, just like you do. I appreciate any and all of the time that you put into the GBHL podcast. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why I was mentioning, I mean, this might not be. Anybody who knows me knows that I wear my heart on my sleeve, for good or for bad, and I'm always very, very honest about how I feel about things and what's going on, and I think hopefully that was part of the reason, one of the contributing factors towards the channel growing, was that there was sort of a genuine excitement about everything that was going on, and I was finding everything new for the first time. And I think the reason why I kind of said what I said last week is because as everything has grown, there are people that, and there are ways of thinking and ways of talking that have become a little bit political in some ways, and I really don't like any of that. I hate that. I hate it. I'm not saying that that's a reflection of everything that goes on, but there definitely is, and there's a lot of this, when you're trying to do good things. It was like when we did the swag bags and stuff at Redesolation. I didn't have to give everything away for free. Loads of people slagged it off. It's like, what? You got loads of stuff for free. That was me trying to do something different and do something good. And Articon's exactly the same. This is a massive, massive risk to me. It's like, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot. I mean, just look at the gaming mats. 100 gaming mats. Even at the discount, it's £2,500. You think I'm loaded? I'm not. Absolutely not. I live in a going on 3-bedroom little terraced house essentially in Stockport, you know what I mean? With 2 young people trying to get somewhere with our businesses, so it has been a big risk. So yeah, when I do get negativity, I do get messages, or I do hear things in the background, when there is that much on the line, it can be a little bit hard to ignore. And I would just say to any people out there that are allowing themselves to get caught up in that kind of negativity is, stop. Why? This is a hobby, we love it, we're all in this for a good time. Me especially, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being behind the camera, I enjoy doing the YouTube, I enjoy going to tournaments, I enjoy running tournaments, I enjoy the people, and I just think there's no need for all this politics and backbiting and trying to, this kind of game of one-upmanship all the time, and what feels like a little bit of resentment, because I hear these things, and eventually, especially when it's from people that you think are your friends, it does hurt. So yeah, I appreciate your support, Vicky. And as you can see that, I'll probably get myself into trouble, but I can't help but just speak honestly about how I feel about all kinds of things. But thanks very much for your comment, Vicky, and again, you're an absolute superstar, you're brilliant with all your support. Andreas has followed on from this. I love Andreas. I'm really sorry that I shaved my beard. I understand that I'm now beardless. I regret it. Jane's happy though, and I suppose, considering she's carrying my child, that although it no longer looks like I could legitimately lead people into battle, at least my wife is pleased. But I think I speak for everyone here in the Norwegian Bastion when I offer massive congratulations and nothing but the best for you, Jane, the baby and the business. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been tough, but yeah, thank you. Naysayers are few and far between in this hobby, at least in the Hobbit hobby, but disregard the negativity. You've been shining a beacon of inspiration for me personally, and I hope you'll continue to offer some of your time going forward. I can't wait to see everyone at Articon. Well, wait to see you, buddy, and Team Norway. You've got a big team coming over. You've got six of you, I believe 6 or 7 of you. I really appreciate all of your support. You've been great with Articon as well, and so many of you have. I guess it is. It really is. It really is the minority. But I guess a vocal minority, it can affect you. So no, I appreciate that very much, Andreas. Next up, we've got Dom BR. He's put, hello, first of all, massive congratulations, James. Thank you very much. It appears that I commented too late last week, so I shall copy and paste it here. There are no words for the boop storm going on in this country at the moment, but we've had our time to moan and complain. Now we need to stand up and try and make this work. But enough politics, onto Lord of the Rings. Are there any models that you wish we would see more of, but don't because the profiles are a bit naff? For me, it would be the new Arwen foot and mounted, the Osgiliath veteran with a bow, Galadrim, Mirkwood Knights, and Círdan and Gildor. What would I like to see more of? Yeah, I mean, I think Círdan and Gildor are a good shout. I'd love to see a little bit more of them on the table. Obviously never a reason for seeing Warriors of Rohan with bows and stuff, but I'm not sure I would like to see more of them. Although I would like to see more sort of Theodens and Hummers and Gamlings, I suppose. I would like to see a few more of them as a Rohan man, but they don't fit in the hierarchy if you want to really compete. I mean, you can still do well, it's about player skill, but you know what I mean. That it's not optimised, is the word. What else would I like to see more of? I guess I'd like to see things like the Balrog, that'd be cool. I'd like to see a few more High Elves out there, yeah, a few more High Elves, that would be quite cool. What else would I like to see? A few more like Lindir and that. I'm going through the list in my mind, like what would I like to see more of? I love seeing Uruk Scout armies. I think they look so cool. Big shout out to anybody with Uruk Scout army. I currently own one thanks to George Perkins. It's downstairs. You'll see that in some of the Hotcase Gaming Battle Reports. If you go and check out that channel, that's where you can support me on Patreon. You're going to support me on Patreon. Now is the time. But yeah. Dan Hotmail's got a beautiful one, as has Thomas Seacon in the Great British Hobbit League. So I do like seeing scout armies, so it's nice seeing things like Lurks on the table when he was such a big part of those movies. Hello Jane.
Hi.
Lots of people saying congratulations. Bilbo and Jane are coming through now to make some toast. They're in the mines of Moria. Lots of people saying congratulations Jane. I was going to try and get Jane in this Speak Friendly question, because of course most of the comments are lovely and talking about congratulations to us both. But you're not feeling 100%, so we're not going to force Jane to go behind the camera. So yeah, there's a few examples there, a few examples of some things that I'd like to maybe see. You put Bilbo, get away. Bilbo down there. Loving the content, keep up the good work. Hashtag GBHL Steve and hashtag GBHL Harry. Now for this week's question, what do you think of this 600 points list? Glorfindel with Armour of Gondolin and Horse as the leader, good. Leading 4 High Elves with Elven Blade and Shield, 4 High Elves with Spear and Shield, and 4 High Elves with Elven Bow. Then Faramir, Captain of Gondor, leading 8 Guards of the Fountain Court with Shield and 4 Citadel Guards with Longbow. And then Meriadoc, Captain of the Shire, leading 8 Battling Brandybooks, 4 Hobbit Archers. Representing the army that drove the Witch King out of the north, Faramir is representing Urnur, I think his name is, and Merry is representing the captain of the Hobbits. Well, it's a very elite army. It's a very elite army. You're not shy on troops, which is pretty good. You've got a good mixture of sort of fight value, decent defense in there, decent shooting. Yes, I actually think that's a pretty good list. You'll have to let me know how it goes, and I hope I get to see it in the future. You've also added here, you've got a couple of other bits to add. First up, the reverse of the first question, are any models that you don't like, but we do see a lot of because of their powerful profiles? For me, it'd be Shades, Epican Guards, Half-Trolls, and that Firecrawler fellow. Hate the profile. The spell look like it's been taken straight out of D&D. Also, he's a shaman, so he can stick his fury up his bum. I think you've mentioned quite a lot on there yet, like when you see Shade. I mean, I don't mind the Shade. I don't mind the Shade. I know, there were ghouls and stuff like that. The North is described as having these kind of things around. The profile is obviously pretty nasty when put in with certain things, but yeah, I don't mind it too much. But yeah, Half-Trolls I'm not a huge fan of, and things like Watchers of Kana I don't really like the look of. There's quite a few of the sort of Haradrim stuff. I like the basic Haradrim, but I don't like those things. We do see quite a bit of them. I guess we see quite a few Ferals, and we didn't really see them in the movies and the like, because they're pretty cheap for what they do. So we see quite a few of them floating around. I can't really think off the top of my head any others that we see a lot of, which I wish that we wouldn't. I guess things like Stormcallers, actually, that's probably a good shout. I'm not really a huge fan of things like the the Galadrim Stormcaller and the like, you know, not really seeing them in the movies or the books and the like, and yeah, you know, they're in there for a reason, aren't they? They're in there because they're pretty damn good at what they do. And as a Rohan player, I hate that kind of stuff. And he put on the subject of negativity, I cannot fathom why anyone would dislike this channel or the amazing things its hosts have done for the hobby. You brought so many people in, me included, and rekindled Games Workshop's interest in the game. You've done so much for this hobby and its community. You owe those haters nothing. Once again, massive congratulations to you and Jane. Wish you all the best with the child, the business, the tournament, the channel, and anything else that comes your way. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. And like I say, the negativity is usually a kind of a small but vocal group of people. You know, it's politics. It's politics that, you know, really I could do with not being involved in. You know, and I guess when you put yourself on a platform, you know, and you're there and you're exposed, you know, I guess you are putting yourself out there not just for, you know, the appraisal and, you know, the lovely things that you guys say, but also so that people and naysayers, you know, can have a shot at you and can sort of have that chip away. You know, and it is a shame, but, you know, I guess you've got to look at it and go, well, that's life, that's how it works. So, but I do appreciate your kind words, Dom. Next up, we've got Jeremy Smith. He's put, well done, old boy, may your firstborn be a masculine child. Well if it's a little girl, maybe not. And may Jane be ever more beautiful. Well, she certainly is. As far as your distractors go, just keep your chin up and crack on. You seem to have a good head on your shoulders, so no need to worry. Remember, hobbies take a backseat to life. Keep your priorities straight and you'll be fine. Absolutely, absolutely. Question, can multiple Sentinels attempt the same song on the same model in a single round, the same way you can cast multiple spells at a target? That's all for this episode. First Agent Smith signing off, stands and salutes. With the Sentinels rules, don't you have to take courage test? Now I'm pretty sure if you pass a courage test, then you automatically pass any other kind of, you know, courage. You automatically pass any other kind of courage test throughout the rest of the round. So I'm sure that you can't target with the Sentinel, because I'm sure with the Sentinel it sings a song, you know, you don't resist it with will or anything like that. You have to take a courage test. If you fail that courage test, then the good player can move you. And I'm pretty sure that if you pass that, then no one else can target that same model. I'm pretty sure that that's the right answer. I hope that I understood your question properly though. So thanks very much for that, Jeremy Smith, much appreciated. Maybe see you at Nova later this year. Next up we've got Crodacan. He's put, congratulations James and James, this is great and wonderful news. Yes, it certainly was. Thank you James, you are the one person to get me into the SBG hobby for real, and for that I am forever grateful of that. Thank you so much, that's really nice to hear, thank you. Focus on the people with positive energy around you. This year have brought so much joy. GBHL YouTube channel and HGG contributes so much to the Middle Earth community and has given me inspiration to push the limits. Well, that's great news. And yeah, I've seen what you're doing for your own community, and you know, that's ultimately, you know, one of the reasons why we did this initially. Now planning my third tournament as a TO this year. Good work and good luck. And at least one more before the end of the year, and more players in Sweden are getting involved. Without you and the other GBHL hosts, I would have lost momentum. Take care James, I support you all the way. Cheers, Mikkel. P.S. I do mourn the loss of your Viking beard, but I suppose Jane is happier now. Yeah, she's much happier. I do mourn it as well though. I was very sad to lose it. I'm very glad. At least I know that I can grow one. You know, that's very important, and at least there is picture evidence of me in beard grandeur. So yeah, pleased with that. So thank you very much for the lovely words there, Crodacan. It really is appreciated. Next up, we've got Matt C, LOTBR. He's put, I have a question and don't really know where to ask, but here goes. Well, if you're going to ask a question about Lord of the Rings strategy battle gaming, Speak Brennan Question is the place to ask. Do you think a Mordor army at 750 points can ever be successful with two named ring wraiths? Basically the rest of the army would be Morannons. I would say yes. Morannons are very strong. Having multiple spellcasters is incredibly powerful in this game, especially considering that, you know, the fell beasts are undercosted, and all of a sudden, especially, you know, named raids, particularly, I mean, I'm guessing you would go for either the Undying as a general, you maybe it's probably going to be Undying and Knight of Umbar. You know, Undying is going to be very hard to get rid of, you know, got all of that will and the like, and Knight of Umbar can replenish, you know, so effectively taking away that whole will of evil weakness that ring wraiths have. It's the fact that on a fell beast they can do both roles. They can do the role of the big beefy hero and killing stuff and the monster things, and they're a spellcaster, and because they're relatively cheap, you can get a couple of him in there. I think that of course it can, and it's something that you see quite a bit of, you know, in the meta, sort of double ring wraith on Fell Beast, at least as a minimum. But I think, yeah, I think they can be very good, and Moranums are solid. So defense 6, strength 4, fight 3, but really that's not how you're winning that game. You're winning that game by wounding mostly on 5s, and you know, making it tough for your opponent to wound you, and your casters shutting down the big heroes and kind of eliminating them and taking them out of the game. So yeah, nice to hear from you, Matt. Maybe see you at Nova as well later this year. Next up, Ian the Beast, he's put, congrats on the baby, and I'd love to meet y'all at Nova. Thank you very much. Yeah, look forward to meeting some new faces there, hopefully. I hope there are a bunch of you going to Nova. I believe it's going to be even bigger this year. I think there were about 20, 30 people last time. I can't remember. But I believe that there's over 60 this time. So well done to Devin and all the guys over there. The negative criticism and all is 100% normal. It happens all the time, and I know it's hard. I do skits and plays and stuff, and even if you have nothing to gain, you're just doing it for some. Some people will still be negative. Just try and focus on the people, me included, that love you for what you do for the game and the community, and most of all focus on your family. That is much more important than the game. Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, I wanted to explain last time. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go into too much detail about any of the negativity, but I wanted to explain some of the things that were going on in my life, and you know, the things with my business, the things that I mentioned about that, and also that's why I made this wonderful announcement regarding James, because that, you know, these things could massively impact on sort of my own contribution, I suppose, going forwards. You know, and like I say, the Patreon doesn't pay for the time that I put into, you know, either of the channels, let alone one of them. And I was also kind of explaining why my kind of role has diminished over time with the GBHL podcast, but also sort of what could happen going forwards, and then also, you know, some of the things which do make it a little bit harder. So, you know, negativity, you know, it can get you in the end. So, but yeah, I do recognise that there are a lot of people out there that do appreciate this, you know, and that's what keeps me going, right? That's why I want to keep on going. You put, also, I was wondering what would be the most competitive Nova Arnold list you can come up with. I've never been to a tournament. I only played against 5 different players over the 3 years I've playing, so I don't have a lot of experience. I've never lost a game and honestly expect my streak to end at Nova. Are there any tips you could give me to help me prepare? Well, yeah, I would say that if this is your first tournament and it's going to be your first exposure to different metas, so of course if you're playing the same people, they're going to be using the same kind of armies, the same kind of tactics, you'll understand them, and you know, it sounds like you've got something on them. Whereas you go to your first tournament, I don't think you should go and try to win. I think you should go there to try and learn, you know, learn how to better use your force, see other force in action, learn what certain things can do and not do, meet people and have a good time that way. But in terms of a competitive, you know, Arnold list, I mean, you've got to look at what the strengths of Arnold. He's got some decent heroes and access to good might. I think that, you know, there isn't a huge amount of choice with Arnold. You know, I think the twins are very good if you can get them in. I think that the warrior of Arnold, you know, are pretty cheap considering you're getting, you know, defense 6 and the spear and fight 4. But they are very, very, very low courage. So, you know, you've got to have some decent heroes in there as well. You know, Malbeth, of course, offering the save. If you can try and get lots of troops, that's pretty good. But it just really depends what you want to go for. You could go for the Grey Company thing. That doesn't work as well now. You know, with the way that you have to deploy and the like, and the fact that you effectively have to take the tax of having the range to the north. I think if you can mount your range to the north, if you do take them to abuse the bow limit, because that's another strength, then that's not a bad thing to do. I mean, at Nova, because of the points level, you could even take Isildur's Heir, and that, you know, that is going to be helpful. You give your woodland creature to a lot of your things, which is pretty good, and you're getting like 3 heroic shoot every turn, you know, to make sure you shoot first, and that can be a way of them winning your bow battle, as it were. But yeah, I mean, good luck, and I look forward to meeting you there. But that's kind of the way that I would go, maybe sort of, you know, you try and abuse the bow limit slightly, maybe try and go 50% bows, 50% troops, 50% bows, that should be enough to kind of help you out. You get your rangers with spear to support, back up, get Malbath in there to try and give you effectively fury, try and win the bow war against things. The twins are good, obviously Aragorn's very good, if you can afford to get them in there. But good luck. Next up we've got Matthew Zammit. He's put, wow, loads of exclamation marks. You must be so proud. Absolutely, absolutely. So happy for you too. Perhaps whilst it's a bit tough in the beginning, I'm sure you'll manage to balance things out. Absolutely, yeah. What you're doing for Lord of the Rings strategy battle gaming is absolutely phenomenal. Can't believe there are a few who think otherwise. You put from get buff bat reps and famous catchphrases to brilliant first class videos and dedication. It's all been brilliant. Well, yeah, like we said before, you put yourself on a pedestal and you do these things, then there are people that clearly get something from trying to tear you down and criticise you. And I think I get more disappointed when you know the people, or when it's people that you thought were friends and like. I think that is more of an issue when you know that there is that kind of that kind of underlying resentment all the time, like this is some kind of competition. I think that's probably what gets me more. Random people know, but that wouldn't affect me in the slightest. But it's when you kind of know groups and you hear things, and a lot of things are hearsay, aren't they? But it just gets a bit disappointing, I suppose. So yeah, from get buff barrows to some famous catchphrases to brilliant first class videos and dedication, it's all been brilliant. Yeah, we've certainly got some good catchphrases out there in the community, all of us, that are now used as just people's wargaming lingo, which is pretty cool. Best of luck for Ardacon and the rest of the year. Well, thank you very much. I will need it. There's a lot of hard work to do, lots of hard work being done, but yeah, whilst the future may look scary at first, it can end up being so great for you. Yeah, brilliant, absolutely. Next up we've got Josh Triffitt. He's put congratulations James and Jane. Thank you very much, Josh. I believe that you are at the Scouring of Cheshire, so I'll see you then. Star Fox has also put congrats James and good luck for the future. Thank you very much. Pete Slynn, he's put huge congratulations James. I hope you get to be present at the birth. That is a truly amazing experience. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, I truly hope I get to be there as well. I can't wait to meet them. It does. It blows my mind. I mean, I've got two little sisters, so I've experienced being around babies and stuff like that, and it's not like I've lived my life not being exposed to people around me having babies and everything. But there is something, about this being our own, and something, that we've made, that Jane is now keeping alive. It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. My question for this week, I just spent rather too much on Gildor and Glory on eBay. Well, I would say to everybody out there, try and hold back a little bit from your eBay market when it comes to those models which are, high selling price. I mean, if you need the model for a certain time and you're willing to pay the money, fair play, we've all been there. But it looks like a lot of these things are coming back out. I mean, imagine if before today, or before this weekend, and Matthew Davies hadn't put on those pictures about, or before he put the pictures up on Gandalf the Grey on a horse, and you'd gone on eBay and bought one for £60, and you knew that it was coming back in stock, and that set's probably going to be a foot mounted model is going to be what, 20 quid or something, 15, 20 quid. So yeah, you'd be a little bit gutted. So I'd say hold back a little bit. Hopefully for your sake, Gildor isn't one of the next ones. Although I think it's a lovely model, so hopefully it comes back. But what hard to find models have you shelled out too much on? No need to be specific on price if your other halves may be watching. Well, hard to find models. Well, of course I shelled out on Smaug, so it's not a hard to find model, but there were a limited quantity and I was quite keen to get that, so that's the most expensive. I did spend quite a lot of money on the Rohan Captain with the axe held aloft. I think that he's probably the most expensive. I think I got Defenders of Rohan Aemma what I would consider to be not a terrible price, but it's definitely a inflated price. It's hard to get hold of. So yeah, I think Rohan Captain with Axe was probably the most expensive one for me. I'm actually painting him at the moment, so hopefully you'll see him in a hobby vlog soon. Not had a hobby vlog for me for a while, so I have started filming one. I just need to finish it. I need to get some painting done. Next up we got Nausy Cody's, but James, a huge congratulations to you and Jane on your fantastic news. Thank you very much, matey. Firstly, let me say you do not need any negativity around you or your family. You and all the guys have nothing but great things for the hobby. I personally thank all you guys for GW's renewed interest in SBG. I followed all your channels for the last few years and thoroughly enjoyed them all. The content you guys put out, as you say, is for the love of the hobby, not your job, and people should respect and appreciate that. Best of luck with everything over the coming year and keep up the great work. Thanks from Dublin. Well, thank you very much, matey. Again, lovely kind words, and everybody out there who's you know, taken that minute to sort of see that maybe there was a little bit of a dark cloud over me, a little bit, not too much. You know, for taking the time out to say nice things. You know, you don't have to do that, so I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Next up we've got Salamander White. He's put, congratulations James, I hope she grows up to be a proud hobbit. Well, hopefully a little bit taller. But James quite short, I'm quite tall, so it'd be quite interesting. You know, it's interesting as well, like what characteristics will that baby take from me, you know, or will they take those characteristics at all? You know, you see some people's kids, and it's like, some people's kids are, they can have like two kids, and one can look really like the dad, and the other one can look really like the mum, and you get some, and it looks like, you know, it really does look like the child is a 50-50 split of the two. So it will be interesting to see what kind of characteristics our baby has. You've now, regards from your most southernmost friend, thank you. Okay, sorry for not including points value on the list. The Umbar list is 800 points, yeah. I decided to get rid of Dalamir instead of putting a Hasharin. I cannot really get rid of the Bosun, as there is no other hero that will fit that perfect point cap in the Harridan Umbar army list. The other idea I was throwing out was about getting rid of a couple of Corsairs and replacing the Bosun with a Haradrim Taskmaster. Do you know what? That is not a bad idea. I actually think that that's a good idea. I can see your list here. I think that that would be very good. Yeah, good changes there. If anybody wants to go see that, you can obviously check the comments of the previous Speak Friend question. As we've not had a quiz for a while, here is one on Umbar and Numenor to test your lore skills. Oh wow. Tough. Okay, why did Numenor fall? Numenor fell because they tried to send ships to the Undying Lands, I believe. They sailed west and they were punished. And it was like the whole Atlantis thing, wasn't it? You know, the Numenor then sank, and only a couple of ships of the faithful, you know, were allowed to be left alive, as it were. Who was the Numenorian that subdued and captured Sauron? I believe, is it Alphazaron? Alphazaron or something like that? That sounds right. Is that right? That might be right. That sounds right. I'm quite impressed with myself for that. If that's right, of course. 3. What Umbar was founded in what age? I'm guessing. Well, Umbar would have been founded because originally it would have all been. There's the Kinstrife. The Kinstrife. When was the Kinstrife? Was the Kinstrife in the Third Age? Third Age, like between 16 and 1800-ish. That sounds like that could be feasible, around 1600 Third Age. I think Umbar might be being the Third Age actually. What are the two rivaling ideologies of Numenor? I'm not too sure. The two rivaling ideologies is one. I guess, are you talking about sort of like the whole black Numenorian kind of side of things and the worship of Melkor, and then there's the ideology that worships whatchamacallit, the big god dude, I can't remember his name. Which two ideologies does Umbar adhere to? No idea. There we go. I gave you a good crack, lizard boy. Thank you very much for the quiz. Next up we've got Stephen Tennyson. He's put, congrats James, I've got 3 myself and all I can say is ellipsis ... Good luck. Thank you. My question from last week was too late, so here, recently picked up a Fell Beast, going to run it with the Undying, never having fielded a Fell Beast before. Are there any basic tactics you could recommend? Cheers. Also hashtag GBHL Steve. So any basic tactics? Well, I'm a cavalry player, so I mean, yeah, you've got to be, you do have to play like cavalry. Ed said something interesting. You have to kind of like play half a game in a way. You know, when I've seen ring raves on Fell Beast used wisely, they're not just kind of like chucked in. It's very much about kind of getting in, getting out, you know, getting what you need and then getting out. So a lot of the time it tends to be in the early days trying to diminish the will of the big heroes and then to try and get rid of those. You know, with sap wheel mobilizes, the odd compel to be able to jump in on something and then, you know, either barge or heroic combat somewhere else. You know, that tends to be what I've seen before. I know that Ed, what he likes to do with the Fell Beast is, you know, try and take opposing armies to being just off breaking, you know, and then the following turn sort of get on all the objectives, break them, and allow the enemy to run away because they've got the heroes to provide the stand fast and the like. But yeah, I would say just be careful, try and shut down the enemy heroes, you know, charging on a transfixed hero, knocking down, you know, smashing them is usually a good way to go. But I am not an expert, so I can't help you out any more than that, I'm afraid. Next up we got White Jind. Hello, how's it going, buddy? You put, before we begin, I would like to add my heartiest congratulations to you and your wonderful wife. All the best, and all I can say, it's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. And as for those who naysay or moan out their backsides, let them. Yeah, I mean, you've got to, haven't you? We know what you and the boys have done for our hobby, and you shall always have our support and backing. You took what was a niche within a niche hobby and cultivated one of the finest gaming channels around and helped grow and support the hobby. So 1,000 thanks. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I appreciate that, matey. To business. 1. How does one appease the loop? After the small break from filming, I totally forgot to post a question, and this, I've fallen from grace for the first time. A perfect score of 5 out of 7 has been tarnished. How does one prepare this gaping hole in their soul? Well, you can make amends by just making sure you ask questions every single week going forward. So that's the way to make amends with the loop. Question 2, if you go on vacation to Middle Earth for a long weekend, where would you go and why? Thanks again, GBHL YouTube. You are all legends and stars. Well, as much as I would like to visit the halls of the Horse Lords and do all of that side of things, which I think would be very cool from my own point of view, I think that I would love Rivendell. I'd love to go to Rivendell. I love mountains and things. I bet the Grey Havens are very nice. I bet it's nice out that way, but it's dead chilled. It seems far away from, you've got mountains and sea. I do like the mountains and the sea and woods and things together. I bet the Shire would be quite cool as well, you know. Good food and good drinks and good company, I can imagine. So yeah, I think those would probably what I'd go for. I think Rivendell. I'd like to see Rivendell with the waterfalls and all the forests, and then you've got all the mountains as a backdrop and the like. It seems like a beautiful place. So thank you very much for that question. Wow, next up we've got David Whittaker. He's put, massive congratulations, dude. Don't let the haters get you down. I'll try my best. Question, any ideas how to make basic orcs work in a Mordor or Angmar army? Well, in the Angmar army, shade, you know, in an Angmar army, it's about shutting down enemy heroes and, you know, protecting those orcs for their weakness, really, which is that sort of low fight value. So I think a shade is a big thing in the Angmar army. You know, basic orcs in a Mordor army, you know, a lot of people do use sort of just an orc with spear to back up their Morannon front lines. Although it's a little bit different now because, of course, you don't just lend an attack, it's an attack at your strength, and they are only strength 3. But I guess, you know, orcs with a shaman, you know, in the same kind of way that, you know, so many evil forces and troops have to kind of rely and do well. You know, Fury is obviously going to be really helpful. in those situations. So that's what I would say. Oh, one thing I would add is that playing with normal orcs is great fun. Like I got Matthew Davies's, he painted up an Angmar army for me, and I love using it. I personally don't think it's very good, but I do enjoy using it. It's quite cool to use. You also added here, also I've never used a Wind Lance, I don't even own one, maybe another David has used it. As for house rules, the Middle Earth team has confirmed the next book will revisit profiles from the Battle of the Five Armies, and so with Mr. Laketown himself as rules writer, I have a feeling the Wind Lance might get a bit of love. Absolutely, just what I was saying before to that previous gentleman. So thanks as ever for your contribution, David Whittaker. I hope you're okay, buddy. Next up we've got Ryan Ratchford, Akathon 39 of course. Huge congratulations, James, thank you very much, Akathon. You might be old enough to buy me a pint next time I see you, maybe. I think. Okay, you're 17 now. Are you 18 yet? Let me know when you're 18. I'll let you buy me a pint. It's fine. Next up we've got Robert Hawksworth. He's put, James, congratulations, buddy, and good luck. I'm sure I need it. Thank you. As for the channel, matey, you've done a great job, and I, for one, certainly appreciate everything you've done for our hobby. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Let the haters hate. You'll still be a legend of our game. Well, much appreciated. Thank you. It feels very much like my announcement last time was somehow like almost fishing for the compliments. I really am blown away by your support, and it does definitely make me feel a little bit better. You know, like I say, it can be hard to ignore when people are politicking and doing that behind your back, particularly when it's people that you know, and you know, for friends and the like. So that's more when there are issues. But yeah, I very much appreciate your lovely words. Next up we've got Jason Stewart. He's put, great news all around. Don't let the naysayers get you. GBHL has done more for SBG than, well, you know who. Winky face. Thank you. Cheers, Jason. Cheeky comment, I like it. Duncan MC, hi guys, first off, big congrats to James and Jane, thank you. Second question, does a model that is granted bonus attacks, e.g. Thranduil's Blade Ward special rule, still gain the bonus attacks if it is transfixed, immobilized, etc.? And if so, when does halving the number of attacks take place? Is it before or after the bonus attacks are allocated? Cheers, and sorry if I've asked this question before because I honestly can't remember. There is an answer for this. I can't remember off the top of my head because I've been out of playing the game competitively for a little while now. So best place to go, in my opinion, as always, for these kind of questions is the Great British Hobby League Facebook group. I thought that you transfixed and you halved the number of base attacks. Did you halve the number of base attacks? I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember off the top of my head. So rather than me screw it up and lead you down the wrong path, I recommend going and ask that question on the Great British Hobby League page. Sorry that I couldn't help you a little bit more there, Duncan. And next up we've got Alec Van Bockham. You put, how do you highlight a black robe? Also, unrelated second question, where in Middle Earth do Woses live and what are they? Okay, we'll start with the first bit. Highlighting black. Highlighting black, what I tend to do is I paint black and then I highlight using like an Eshin grey. It tends to be good at some really dark grey, but then you don't really need to do any more, because remember, black absorbs light, so you don't really want to highlight up too much. Having said that, there are other ways of highlighting up black using things like purples and the like. And interestingly, when I did Bayorn, if you go and check out that hobby vlog, when I painted Bayorn, I highlighted his black fur using effectively like I think, is it Baylor brown? It's the old vomit brown, it's like a yellowy brown, and highlighted up that way, and that was really interesting. That gives you like a really kind of, I mean, it almost looks like a greeny grey when you mix it, but when you apply it onto the model and highlight, the combination of that versus the black works really well. That was Kev from Shadow and Flame, our channel sponsors, who gave that tip. So I would recommend checking it out. But Eshin Grey seems to be a solid choice for most things, I would say. And in terms of where do the Woses live, they live in the Druidan Valley, which is, if you read the books in Return of the King, the Woses are met by when Theoden, Aemma, the muster of Rohan are travelling to go and relieve Minas Tirith, and they live in the Druidan Forest, which is sort of between Rohan and Minas Tirith, of course. And what the Woses do, the Woses hate the orc folk and have been hunting them, and they warn the Muster of Rohan, the Rohirrim and Theoden of other orc armies on the road, and tell them how to get round them, basically, and help them out with that. So yeah, that's where they live, the Druiden Forest. I hope that helps a little bit, Alec. Next up we've got Larry Miller. He's put, congratulations, James. I suppose I need a question now. If you're not Jamie or Harry, who's your money on for the World Cup? Well, I have to make a big confession. I do apologise to the guys. I'm sure at some point I'll get around to it. But I haven't watched any of the World Cup. I tried to watch one of the first ones. I haven't really watched any of it. So when I do get a chance to sit down and maybe try and binge watch some of it, who knows? But I'd be quite interested to hear what you guys think. You know, maybe give me a bit of an update. Who can give me the best sort of rundown on what's been going on with the World Cup? Because I've not been really keeping up to date with the World Cup or watching any of the kind of like match of the day things that are on the channel either. But I'm sure that they're great, and it seems that people are enjoying them, so that's good. But I can't speculate because I've got no idea. Are Rohan still in it? Please let Rohan be in it. And finally, final question. So just coming up to an hour and a quarter for this episode. You put, congrats and good luck, James. Well, much appreciated, Texas Godfather. Cool screen name, by the way. I've been building, finally back in the loop, welcome back. I've been building my Dol Amroth mounted army. Awesome. I was hoping to build a fiefdom army as well. Having an issue with the Vale Archers, they aren't very good. Any suggestion for a replacement for my army? And any thoughts on Middle Earth SBG making some additional options for Dol Amroth men at arms? Well, go and check out the Rules We'd Like to See video, which covered Kings of the Men. I think that the Dol Amroth men at arms are pretty cool, and I think that Dol Amroth have got some reasonable options. I think that the Dol Amroth captain should be high fight value, of course. That there should be, you know, a rider and a dead leader, and also the Blackroot Vale Archers, as you say, are pretty poor. You know, they can't support, they're low fight value. What some people do when they want to try and optimise, you know, their fiefdoms list, as it were, and they want to bring along Blackroot Vale Archers, as it were. They bring Rangers of Gondor and they get Damrod, someone cheap, to lead them, so that you can effectively put that bow contingent in there. But of course, you're only going to be able to get 4 because you can't abuse the bow limit. So what some other people will do, so you can get like 100% bows, is that they bring Rangers of Arnor and Rangers of the North, like Dunedain along with them, and get someone like Halbarad to lead them. And at least then, you know, you've got a third of your army, as it were, which is what you want to try and aim for, I think, when you're trying to, or at least as a minimum, when you do want to use bow fire, is try and max out your bow limits where you possibly can, because you've got to be thinking, what am I going to be up against? And you don't want from the get-go to handicap yourself and effectively take bows knowing that you're going to get outshot. So there we go. That's what I would suggest. In that sense. So maybe not Damrod and the Rangers of Gondor, though I have seen people do that before. But then of course you're only getting like the 4 bows. You have to take more. If you want to get 100% bows, take the Rangers of Arnor and take Halbarad along. And you can always say that Halbarad is doing here. And I'm pretty sure you could make up things of who the Rangers of the North are. So there we go. Speak, friend, and question is done. Again, just to reiterate my massive thanks to everybody who took some time to say congratulations, and also to and just to give some general support to myself for everything that's obviously going on. I do hope that you are enjoying all of your content at the moment, and I hope that we can continue to bring you Middle Earth SBG content going forwards. You guys know what to do. Don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. You can support your Hobbit hosts, me included, by checking the links in the video description below, where you can also find details of how to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Don't forget, guys, to support your Hobbit hobbies, and happy strategy battle gaming.